Today we're going to be talking about how you're going to disappear, isolate, and glow up in 2024.
First time in a long time, hurting deeply inside.
Hey babes, welcome back to my channel. I'm Chelsea. If you're new here, I do lifestyle, beauty, and fashion content. Hopefully you guys enjoy the vibes and you decide to subscribe. Let's go ahead and get straight into it. I have been in this process of rebranding myself, so I thought it was important for me to share my journey with you guys, and I'm currently on this journey. A lot of times we feel like we have to have the pieces all together, especially when it comes to glowing up and just transitioning and rebranding yourself. You feel like you have to have it all together. I want to show you guys my journey along the way instead of just showing you the end result. I'm currently in that season of somewhat of an isolation period I've been feeling, and I've just been wanting to glow up and just go ghost in a sense, but not go ghost in a way where I don't maintain my relationships that I currently have when it comes to, you know, friendships or relationships or whatever the case may be. Putting my time and energy into myself, and I want to show you guys, and there's some of the tips that I'm going to be using along the way, and I feel like it will be very helpful because I'm in my late 20s. I know I have a lot of babes who are in their early 20s or even past 20. Like, you can be in your mid 30s, early 40s, however old you are. I feel like some of these tips are beneficial because, like I mentioned before, nobody has all of the pieces together. The whole purpose of a rebrand, or to glow up in a sense, is just to feed and give that energy and time and effort that you've been putting into everyone else into yourself. So that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. Mindset is everything. You don't have the right mindset even before you even decide that you want to do a rebrand or a shift. That's where you need to start, is with your mindset. You're training your mind to think, number one, positively, especially being that we all go through a lot as adults. It's so many different things. I didn't realize when I was younger, y'all, I wanted to rush and be grown. Oh no, baby. It's so many different factors that go into being an adult. So I would say, number one, start with retraining your mind, reprogramming your mind. I've talked about this in previous videos, in my last two videos actually. Retraining your mind and listen to different things that can actually feed into your higher self. Think about, how do you want to show up as your higher self? That's currently what I'm doing. I'm transitioning even with my outward appearance, and I'm also making internal transitions as well. Just decided that I just wanted to stop wearing wigs. That's one example of even transforming, thinking of myself as that higher self. Like, how does she look? What does she wear? What does she do? What places does she frequent? Those things are currently questions that I am answering for myself, and I want you guys to take the time and even journal and write that down for yourself. Like, what type of person do I desire to be, and how can I show up as that person? I'm also currently creating routines for myself. I've never been the type of person that stays in bed and just like waste the day away. Especially if everything is okay and I'm not sick, nothing's wrong, I'm out of bed before 8 a.m. And now that doesn't have to be true for everyone. I know everybody is not a morning person, and that's okay if you're not a morning person. But what I will say, it is important to try to do things that are outside of your normal. Do different things, do different activities. I even said I wanted to take up tennis this summer, even just try golfing. I know there's a golfing club here in Atlanta. I want to try different things to break outside of that comfort zone and do different things to expose myself to different environments that I have never been exposed to before. And I feel like that's important when it comes to your glow up journey, and that's something that I am going to be implementing this summer, and I want you guys to stay along with me on my journey and be able to see that firsthand. Retraining your mindset, creating different routines for yourself. If you normally wake up at 12 p.m., 1 o'clock, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but if you can tweak that and wake up a little bit earlier, I feel like that would be a great thing to kind of shift yourself into the person that you desire to be. Especially if that person gets up early or has a set routine, visualize yourself as that and actually show up and take the action to do so. So that's something that I'm going to be implementing into my 2024 glow up journey. Even with the process of me wanting to rebrand and me wanting to glow up or make the shift in my life, I was going to do it privately without even speaking about, you know, the different things that I want to change in my life. But I feel like this would be really important, and we can all grow together, and I want you guys to see the process happening versus me just showing you the aftermath, you know, because with life, you're constantly growing, you're constantly evolving, you're constantly changing. Even how I think right now is not going to be the same 2 years from now, a year from now, or not even 6 months from now. So I am allowing myself that space and that time and that opportunity to grow and develop myself, and I want you guys to stay on the journey with me. Guys, even when it comes to shifting your mindset or even thinking about your higher self. Also consider, are they positive? I know there's a such thing as toxic positivity. That's not what I'm speaking on. I'm not saying if something bad happens to you, you automatically say something positive. What I'm saying is consider the fact of how grateful and how blessed you are, even at your current state. And that's something I have been growing to appreciate, is how blessed I am, or some of the things that I have asked God for I'm currently living in right now. I know even you guys have seen firsthand, even with me moving, me even living in my old apartment, still expressing gratitude for what you do have, because you do have a lot. And also being resourceful and using what you do have is so important, even when you're on your rebrand journey, because a lot of us want to just buy the new things, get the new car, get the new house, or go ahead and do those things. But just being grateful for what you do have can attract more. So making sure that you're staying in that gratitude or that gracious space in your life as well, right where you are, and being resourceful is important. Even when you're in this going ghost season or disappearing or self-isolating season, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Like I said at the beginning of the video, you don't want to go ghost or damage relationships that you have. Focus your attention from other people to yourself. The same effort and energy that you give to others or your relationships, it can be romantic or platonic relationships, give that energy to yourself. That's the whole point of a go and go season, or a glow up season, or a 6-month isolation period. Refocus your attention from other people and just focus on yourself. Give yourself that love, give yourself that energy, and that's exactly what I'm doing in this season. All of these things happen privately. It's so important to keep certain things private to yourself and keep it special to you. You know, it's so important to make sure that you don't overshare things and not being so like vocal about what you want to do, and just keep it between you and God, y'all. Like, just really keep your energy and your goals, keep that to yourself. Sometimes it is hard to not want to share certain things with the people that are special to you in your life. We want to make sure that we're keeping certain things private and intimate for us, just for you. And that's the one thing that you can give as a gift to yourself. It's just like, hey, this is just going to be between me and myself. Like, I know I'm usually a oversharer. I know I usually go ahead and spill the beans before things even happen or occur. But keeping those things private is so important when it comes to your glow up season. You don't want any unnecessary energy on those dreams and goals that you do have, or any unnecessary opinions, you guys. I may not be sharing every single thing. You guys are just gonna see it once it comes to fruition. And that's the same thing I want you guys to do. You can vocalize, hey, like, I may not be spending as much time going outside, but you don't have to spill every single detail. That doesn't mean that you're being overly secretive or just being deceiving or anything like that. It just means that you're keeping certain things to yourself. And I feel like that's important too, because sometimes we overshare and we can get unnecessary opinions, and then boom, now you don't even want to go through this process anymore because you've heard so-and-so say, oh, I don't know if you should do that, or I don't know if you can do that. You know, so keeping those things and your dreams and your goals to yourself, because everybody's not going to believe in you as much as you can believe in yourself. Not oversharing is another part of your glow up journey. Who you plan to be does not involve anybody else. This is your life, and you set the tone for how you want to show up in your life and how you want others to show up for you. Another thing that I'm going to be implementing on my glow up journey is revoking access, you guys. People that no longer deserve to be in your life, revoke access, because it is a privilege for people to even say that they know you. It's a privilege for people to be around you and to share the same energy and same spaces as you. So if they are not feeding into you or uplifting you or being supportive, revoke access. And that goes for anyone. I don't care if they're your sister, your brother, your cousin, any type of relative, or a best friend, whoever. If they are pulling you down or not being supportive or not being there for you, revoke access. If it's a past relationship or whatever the case may be, or how much history you have with this person, please revoke access, you guys. People can be a hindrance. What I'm saying is be very selective about the people that you are surrounding yourself with and that you are allowing in your space. And that includes family. You can be related to someone, but that doesn't mean they are good for you. And that's something that you have to keep in mind too when it comes to your glow up journey. You don't have to do anything that you don't feel comfortable with. So keep that in mind when you're on your glow up journey, is to make sure that you are doing the things that feed into your spirit and what you need at this point. And I feel like also with the glow up journey, it is a very vulnerable part of your life. You are not the same person that you were, you know, a few months ago, and you're intentional about those things. So also be intentional about the people that you allow in your space. And that's a very important key when it comes to your glow up journey. It's very hard to keep toxic people in your life and grow at the same time. there's gonna be some type of imbalance there. And I'm very big on balance when it comes to, you know, different things that I participate in my life, or different people that I'm around, or different activities that I do. Balance is so important. You can't have too much of one thing and not enough of the other. So I just feel like it's important to make sure that you are constantly reassessing your community, the people that you are around. You will figure out where there needs to be an adjustment. So for some people that may be hard to do, especially if you live with someone that may be toxic or may not be the best person for you at that point in time. Try to frequent different places that can kind of remove you from those spaces. So I would say, like, if you're always at home and they're always at home, find a different place to maybe work. If you have an apartment, go to a different area. Find different amenities that you can utilize to even put yourself in different spaces. Figure out different things that you can do to kind of remove yourself from that space if you do live with someone that may not be the best for you. If they're not the best for you at that point in time, figure out a different place that you can put yourself in to kind of remove yourself and kind of limit that time that you're spending with them. The next tip that I have for your glow up journeys would definitely be quiet in this season. That kind of goes back to that topic that I mentioned before, is if you have something good going on in your life, until it happens, you guys, please don't share it. And that's something I had to learn the hard way, because I'm such a like, oh, I'm so happy that this is happening, let me share, let me tell somebody, you know. And I had to learn, and I'm still learning this, to maybe keep it quiet until it happens. This means I'm keeping this to myself until it happens. Like I mentioned before, certain people's opinions can deter you from wanting to do this thing. We have to understand that everybody does not view things the same or think the same. We are all gonna have different opinions. So with that being said, just like everybody has an opinion, doesn't mean it's valid. Of course, there may be a certain level of respect that I may have for that person, but your opinion does not hold any weight when it comes to how I feel about a certain topic. Respectfully, I'm gonna do what's best for me, because this is my life and I have to make decisions that are gonna be beneficial to myself. Nobody experiences the things that you're experiencing except for you. So other people's opinions really shouldn't hold any weight when it comes to something that you truly know is best for you. I feel like boundaries are so important, you guys. If you don't have boundaries, you will get ran over, you will get taken advantage of, you will get talked to any kind of way. It's so important to establish boundaries between you and other people. If you don't have boundaries, it allows for disrespect. It allows for your feelings to be hurt or not validated, and the other person isn't even thinking about it in that way. More so beneficial for yourself, so that you can be protected, so that you won't feel offended or hurt, especially if you are a person that overshares. And like I said, I can totally relate, because I am currently working through that. I was definitely a serial oversharer, you guys. Like, I couldn't wait to tell somebody what was going on in my life. But the last probably like 6 to 8 months, maybe even a year, I've been very quiet about certain things that go on in my life. And I feel like that is very important, because you don't want to overdo it, you know. And that's not saying if something is bothering you to not share that with somebody that is a confidant for you. What I'm saying is, if it's something that you're excited about when it comes to your business ventures, or, you know, like I said, your rebrand, or who you plan to be in the future, maybe keep those things quiet. But if it's something that is, you know, disturbing you, hopefully you do have someone that you can confide in and be vulnerable with. Of course, share those things. And especially if you have a therapist, let all of those things out to your therapist or someone that you really, really trust. But when it comes to like just sharing dreams and goals and things that you have envisioned for yourself, maybe keep those things private. So the sixth tip that I would say for your glow up journey would be enjoying the process. I am actually enjoying the process of becoming who I always wanted to be, and I am finding beauty in this. Even with my last video, you guys, I was really excited from all of the great reception that I got from it, because this is something that I have always wanted to do, just even have sit down talks with you guys and tell you guys about my process. But in my head, I was so like not wanting to do it, because technically I haven't met what appears to be my higher self and what I envision for myself just yet, but I know I'm on my way to her. So I didn't want to really overshare or share those things, but I feel like this is a part of my process, and I feel like it's so important to enjoy the process. Enjoy where you are right now. Of course, not being comfortable, not being complacent, but enjoy where you are right now, because where you are right now is where you're meant to be. And that's something that is really resonating for me more than ever before, is to enjoy the process. Enjoy this moment, even if you don't have everything together, because it's going to give you the fuel that you need to along the journey. Because if you're hating everything about what you're doing, or the, you know, the things that you have to do to work on yourself, how will you really get to be that person? Being grateful and thankful for where you are right now, because I'm telling you, there is something to be learned in the space that you are in right now. So just finding those things. And if it's hard to find, maybe pull out a pen and paper and just write down at least 5 things a day that you're grateful for. They can be the same things every day, and if that is the case, that's the case. But figure out what it is that you can learn from this process that you're in right now. So we're on tip number 7 at this point. I definitely have to say my next thing would be to take time away from things that are distracting you. So even if you have a problem with vices, or like maybe you drink too much, or maybe you go out too much, or whatever the case may be, try to find time away from those things so that you can meet your higher self. Because if you are still struggling with vices or different things that you know that just does not resonate for you, or you want to pull away from, maybe actually do the step. Take the step and take time away from those things. That way you can face your problems head on. You can actually become more self-aware in that process as well. You'll realize like, hey, maybe I am the problem in this instance, or maybe I do need to work on this thing. But it's kind of hard to see that when you have so many blinders on, or so many different distractions. I feel like it is important to actually take time away from the things that really make it harder for you to show up as your higher self. It does not have to be a overnight thing. You don't have to do 300 different things to be this higher person, but more so taking the small things and building upon those things. So like if you are a person that drinks every day and you want to stop doing that, maybe just drink once a week. I'm not saying that you shouldn't drink, girl. I'm always here for a good cocktail, or like, you know, a cute little one too. But what I'm saying is, if it's causing you to be distracted in other areas of your life, figure out how you can limit those things so that you can show up as your higher self. Finding different things and hobbies that you can put yourself in to kind of distract you from even wanting to partake in those vices per se. You know, figure out different things that would be a good distraction for you. So even finding different activities around your city that don't involve, you know, that one thing that is really holding you back would be important. Number 8 would definitely have to be have discernment about who and what you listen to. I tapped on this in my 11 micro habits video, but definitely try to have more discernment about even like the music that we listen to. I was never that person who was like, music really affects you. That message didn't really click for me until like now, like my late 20s. Having more discernment about what you listen to is important, especially when you are on this rebrand or this glow up journey. Because if you're still listening or still being that person that you were before, how far can you really get if you are trying to glow up and trying to change things about yourself? So maybe finding different things to listen to in the meantime is important. When it comes to listening to different things, that also includes listening to different people's advice. Some people may give great advice, they may be great advice givers, but it doesn't really make it law, because they're just as imperfect as I am. Just having discernment about who and what you're listening to and what are you taking in is important, especially when you're on your glow up journey. That's why I think it is important to find like a mentor. Just finding that one person that you can really look up to or follow. They can assist you on your journey and actually be that confidant for you. So even if you don't have like a physical mentor, maybe find one person online that you really like. Finding value in that and actually tapping into that space will be important, especially on your glow up journey. That's another thing that I want to tap into this year, is finding a mentor that really aligns and has the same values as myself. Tip number 9 would definitely have to be invest in your own physical glow up. That's something that I am currently focusing on right now as well when it comes to glowing up and just reinventing myself. Is just figuring out what I like when it comes to my style, when it comes to my hair, trying new things, especially if you're used to doing things a certain way. It's so important to try new things, figuring out your wardrobe and what is like your base, like what is something that you're gonna always go to, and it doesn't have to fit a certain aesthetic. I'm not one of those women who preach about like aesthetic. It doesn't have to be a certain aesthetic. It's just what you really like. Figuring out what you really like is so important in this process. You're also like just figuring out what you really like and what you really want for yourself. I am definitely focusing on my capsule wardrobe. You should be able to walk into your closet and put the pieces together, and that's exactly what I'm trying to work towards, because I am being more intentional about like the clothing that I'm selecting. Also, when it comes to your physical glow up, maybe try getting facials. I feel like every woman deserves it. We work hard, we go through a lot, and at the end of the day, baby, I'm just a girl, okay? So I need girl time. I need those moments. I need to start investing in getting massages monthly. I want to be that type of girl. Like, I want to be able to go and get my massage monthly. I want to get my facial and that be a part of my self-care package, making sure I'm keeping my nails done. If you're not a nails person, that's fine. Or keep your nails manicured. Like, even if you don't like extensions on your nails or like tips or whatever the case may be, keep your nails manicured. Keep your hands together. I even say that for men. Like, it's important to get your nails nails done, okay? They make a world of difference, especially when you look down at your hands and you have a nice set on. I feel like that is so important. And it doesn't have to be just a French tip or a white nail. Like, do what you like, but also just keep it together, you know? I'm also investing in my activewear, my everyday set, so that I can always have something to put on and I'm not just throwing on pieces. I know I mentioned to you guys in the last video to get rid of those t-shirts, and I still stand beside that, okay? You can still keep those t-shirts, but what I mean is don't let it be your everyday routine. Like, switch it up. Like, maybe put some pieces together that you don't normally put together. Do different things so that you can figure out what you like upon this journey. That's my main thing. So that's just some of the tips that I'm going to be implementing into my glow up journey. I just want to be a well-kept woman, and if nobody's doing the keeping, girl, it's okay for you to keep yourself up, okay? You don't have to wait till somebody swoops in and saves the day, and it doesn't have to be an expensive thing. If you want me to touch on this, I would love to create another video for you guys to talk about inexpensive ways that you can, you know, glow up, and it doesn't have to be expensive. You can still do that girl things but not have to spend and break the bank. But we'll talk about that in another video if you guys want some glow up tips that are inexpensive. My last and final tip when it comes to disappearing and really self-isolating: create a vision board for yourself. I highly recommend you guys create quarterly vision boards. Every 3 months I will make a vision board on Pinterest, and these are the things that I'm focusing on for that month. I know you guys have heard that a million times, but it actually does work. I also have my yearly vision board, but I also have like my quarterly vision boards. As the seasons change, so do you. So that means that you need to adjust and make different shifts and put things in different places so that you can get closer to those goals, because I get very overwhelmed when I see like, okay, this is the big end thing versus like seeing like little pieces that I can put together along my journey and actually make it make sense, versus like just getting overwhelmed by so many different things that you want to do for the year. And that's the thing, there's no rush when it comes to rebranding and changing who you are currently. There is no rush. It's going to be a forever process, and I may do another rebrand or another readjustment because we're constantly evolving, and there's nothing that's going to be the same about you, you know, a month, 2 months, a year from now, you know. So constantly being open to that realignment and that readjustment is important too along your journey. I feel like these adjustments that I mentioned in today's video is definitely going to help us be unrecognizable in 6 months. I'm telling you, if we stick to it, we're going to be unrecognizable. People are going to be like, who are you? Like, who are you? But it's going to be a good thing. It's not going to be like a snobby thing, or like, you know, you think you're higher than other people. That's something that I'm never going to preach on my channel, because I just don't believe in that. It's just mean that you are not the same person that you were before, and I feel like that's so important. We can all take away from the fact that there is always something to improve and to work on. And I know you guys have heard this saying millions of times, but old ways do not open new doors. So if you want new doors to open, sometimes we have to change the old ways in order to see new results. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, that it was able to resonate for you, and that you're able to take on some of the tips that I'm going to be using and that I am currently using in my glow up journeys. I love you guys so much, and I thank you all so much for the support that you guys have been giving, and you guys have been pouring into me, and I truly appreciate it. And I will get emotional on here because it really does mean a lot to me. So if you haven't subscribed and you love the vibes today, I highly recommend that you subscribe, because I'm not letting up, girl, okay? I love you guys so much, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.
First time in a long time.